Hey guys, so I saw Baba Levo's interview with Wasafi, and of course he was talking about Zuchu and Diamond's relationship, their new baby, and of course they were asking him lots and lots and lots of questions. Why Diamond was late? Was he really supposed to be there? Like, we're gonna talk about it, okay? Low-key, I feel like this one is not to be trusted because I remember up until towards the baby shower, he posted something that made me look at him a certain way. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a few. But first of all, let's get into his interview with Wasafi and some things that he had to say about Diamond Platnumz and Zuchu and their relationship and their baby, because you all know that at this point I think he's more of Zuchu and Diamond's spokesperson.
Kiuhalisia hata wao wenyewe Diamond Platnumz na Zuchu baada ya kamera kuzima, nilikuwa nikikaa nao ukiongea nao, kuna vitu na wao wenyewe wanaona mbona kama hii imekuwa over nasema over nini, yani ni zaidi yes, yani kile tulichokitegemea kimetokea zaidi na imeongezea nguvu kwenye career zao, kuona kwamba sasa kumbe tuna kundi kubwa la watu ambao wanatupenda, wanasupport kuliko wenye chuki. Oscar, kuna watu wengi sana wenye chuki wanatamani Diamond Platnumz na Zuchu waachane. Kuna watu wengi, yani kundi hilo.
So let's talk about that. So he first started off by saying that when the cameras went off, when he was in the room with Diamond and Zuchu, they seemed very, very surprised to how they were trending and how this baby has brought in so much them being talked about, and of course with that it also made them realize how big they are in the industry. And Baba Levo also mentioned that they realized that people that love them are actually way more than people that don't like them. Baba Levo's words again verbatim. He also added that there are some people who want Zuchu and Diamond to break up. I will not say that's a lie. That's true, but majority of the people who come off like they don't want the relationship is because they're seeing how Diamond is treating Zuchu. Zuchu's own fans, okay? Multiple of fan groups that support Zuchu were so done with the Diamond. So you can't say that those people don't like Zuchu and Diamond's relationship because they don't like those people, as they don't like Zuchu and Diamond to be together. They love Zuchu, but they don't want Zuchu to be with Diamond because they're seeing how Diamond continue to mistreat Zuchu. So those are two different people. There are people who hate the relationship because they don't want those two to be together, but the people who hate the relationship based off of how Diamond is showing up for Zuchu. Okay? Let's keep it about. Let's continue.
Kiuhalisia nikwambie tu Oscar. Kiuhalisia Diamond Platnumz anampenda sana Zuchu. Nitakwambia kuna baadhi ya vitu aliriski ambavyo
anampenda au wanapendana.
No. Mimi namzungumzia mtu ambaye ndo niko naye karibu, tunaongea naye mara kwa mara na kila kitu. Mimi najua kama Zuchu anapenda Diamond Platnumz. Sababu angekuwa hampendi, hizi heka zote zingemfanya angerudi nyuma, wala asingekubali. Sababu unamkataza hapa, anafungua kamdoko kingine, kuna kamdoko, umeelewa vizuri. Lakini Diamond Platnumz anampenda sana Zuchu. Na yapo matukio ambayo wewe usio kuyapima unagundua kwamba hawa kuna bondi ambayo ipo katikati ina nguvu.
Baba Levo go ahead and say that he know for a fact that Diamond loves Zuchu. He also added that he was asked, do you mean that Diamond loves Zuchu or Zuchu and Diamond love each other? He said, I know that Zuchu loves Diamond, but I'm talking about the person that I spend most of my time with, who is Diamond. And I know for a fact that Diamond loves Zuchu, okay? Because you can tell, because if Zuchu did not like Diamond, again, Zuchu could have not been keeping up with all the BS that Diamond keep on throwing her way. You know, when Zuchu stopped Diamond from doing this with this person, he's on the other side doing it with another person. But apart from all that, okay, there is a time that when you see those two, you can tell that they have a bond. They have good friendship. And according to Baba Levo, he's seeing that as people who love each other, especially Diamond, according to Baba Levo, is saying because that is the person that he talked to the most about those intimate stuff, and he can attest that Diamond indeed loves Zuchu. I don't know what I can say about that, because People perceive love differently. What I see as love might not look at the other person as love. But anyway, to each is their own. But that right there is what Baba Levo had to say, honey. Mine was to just listen and sip some tea, honey, and come here and serve it to you. Let's continue.
Mimi naamini mtoto yule pale katengeneza zaidi ya milioni 400 na kitu. Umeelewa vizuri? Umfungie ndani mtoto ukose milioni 400 kwa sababu tu ya midomo ya watu. Kilichotokea kufanyika pale ni protection ya mtoto kupata maradhi ya kupumua kama baadhi ya perfume na nini. Ukija kwenye mlengo huo mlengo unakuwa na mashiko. Lakini tukija kwenye mlengo wa imani na mila na desturi za Kiafrika, nyingi zingemsababisha mtoto akose hizo hela. Sio kama wazazi wake hawana hizo hela, lakini kuna muda niliona kama Diamond tamani na muingia.
Alikuwa na raha. Anazishangilia.
Tamani kwenda muingia amekaa hivi. Tupige day 3 ni kama.
But let me go ahead to say that all the money that was being gifted to the new Zuchu's baby, it's up to, if not more or less, 400 million Tanzanian shillings. He also added that what might have made them be the baby being covered, the way the baby was being covered, what they were feared is different perfumes, and of course it can, make a newborn to contract something. He also talked about, there's no need of not showing your baby or not allowing visitors to come and see your baby because you can't have that 400 million that the baby was gifted. But it's not like Diamond don't have that kind of money. But, at some point, Baba Levo felt like Diamond was so excited about how the money was coming in that he wanted to have even more days. You could tell that he was so excited how the baby was receiving the money and how they were trending that he wanted it to even continue even more. Baba Levo's words again, not mine. Okay? But anywho, tell me how you all feel about it down in the comment section. Let me play you this last part. And then I think this will be about it. Hold on.
Dada yako anaitwa nani? Tutaweza kutaja jina kwa sababu moja. Lile jina lina biashara. Jina la mtoto limeshanunuliwa. Jina la mtoto wa Diamond limeshanunuliwa. Kwa hiyo tafsiri yake ni kwamba wale waliolinunua ndio wenye mamlaka wa kulifunua. Lakini unalifahamu. Mimi nilikosa kulijua hapa leo.
Okay, so Baba Levo go ahead and say that he knows the name of the baby, and the real reason why it can't be revealed is because the name has already been trademarked. Okay, and it's a certain company that bought that trademarked the baby's name, and they want to use it in, I think, brand deal. It's a bank, according to Baba Levo. He also said that he helped secure that deal with the bank, and he also added that for now they can't reveal it because it will not be good for the business side of it. That on the day of 40th day probably, or the naming ceremony, because remember Diamond kept on talking about naming ceremony, yeah. So I think that is the day that they're going to reveal it. Of course, that is the day that probably that company is going to come off with that. But what can I say about Baba Levo? Diamond, might love Zuchu as a person, but I don't think he's in love with Zuchu, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why, right? I don't think Diamond is capable of being in love with anybody. He's in love with the idea of being in a relationship. He loves Zuchu. He have love for Zuchu, but he's not in love with Zuchu because he doesn't know how it's like to be in love with someone, because that is something he probably never experienced, yeah? Women might have shown it to him, but because he doesn't have that in him, so he can't feel it. I don't know if you get. I'm not going to talk more about that because I don't want this video to be long, but probably I'll talk more about it in a different video. Anyway, keep it classy, stay